Hey everyone. So we have exactly a week until students are first back into the building. Later on this week, I'm going to do a more in-depth video on first day practices, startup practices, routines and procedures that I use to get things kicked off. But today I'm going through my classroom and I am taking personal things down off the walls and I'm cleaning out my desk as things are going to look different this year. So I thought I'd just do a really quick video just to talk a little bit about differences to startup this year than the rest of it. So enjoy. So the way that COVID procedures are going to look, at least in my division, students are going to be put into and kept in cohorts for a lot of the day, so grade cohorts specifically. So what that means is essentially teachers are going to be traveling from class to class throughout the day, instead of teachers having their own rooms and students coming in period by period for whatever subject they're going to teach. So grade 7s will be broken into 2 or 3 groups and they'll stay in a class for a lot of the day and teachers will come to them, and grade 8s and senior highs will move around a little bit more, but very similar idea. So that means teachers no longer have their own classroom as their own home base. So I'm cleaning out the desk drawers in this room. I'm taking things off the walls that I put up. I'm essentially moving all of my own personal things, which, as you all know, as a teacher, is most of it in the classroom. I'm moving it all into one big lockable cupboard in the corner of this room. So this room's going to go back to looking a lot more bare, a lot more sparse, not have nearly as much humanity in it as it used to when it was my own classroom. Or essentially it's going to look the same for everybody else's classrooms. That'll change as the year goes. Students' work will be put up and presented in those specific rooms. But it kind of gives the teachers a sense of not having a lot of permanence. And I'm personally almost getting a little bit of a feeling of kind of grief right now, just due to seeing the loss of the routines and the habits that I'm used to, the comfort that students know when they come into my room. They're expecting certain things to be up and around and see and hear and whatever. And that's going to be different this year, which, fair enough. We know that COVID is putting in, and I hate this word now, unprecedented, because I've heard it so many times, but putting in those measures now for everybody. I was just listening to a talk session by Dr. Jody Carrington. If you aren't familiar with her work, definitely look her up. I will see if I can put a link down in the description below for her website. And she had a guest speaker on. His name is Jeremy Allen, and he's a funeral director. And it's interesting the way that funeral directors and that whole world are kind of connected to what we're going through right now. One of the big things that stands out for me is he says, wherever loss lives, grief will follow. So, I mean, I'm not going to talk a lot about what he talked about, but one of the big things is grief doesn't just follow actual death. Students and parents will be grieving things like the loss of their grad that they were looking forward to for the 12 or 13 years of their school career, walking across that stage. They lost that. They lost playing in those hockey tournament finals. They lost having that big start of summer sleepover. Whatever their normal routines and traditions were, that was all lost over the last 6 months. And I can't believe we've been online now and out of school for 6 months. So wherever loss lives, grief will follow. So that means one of the key jobs of educators and teachers. And when I'm talking about teachers, I'm talking about not just the person at the front of the classroom that delivers the lesson each day. I'm talking about everybody in these buildings, from secretaries to custodians to bus drivers to crossing guards, whoever interacts with the students. Our job for the first few weeks, and probably ongoing, is to help people process these losses. It's going to be to help the students work through their own emotions and confusion and uncertainty around all of this whole global pandemic thing. So one of the biggest things that I think is going to be helpful in that process, and one of the biggest things that I'm going to try, is to be as open and honest and vulnerable as I can with the students. And that's a practice that should be done regularly, no matter what. Before the global pandemic, that's something that I did try and keep in the back of my mind. But I think now, during this time, it is so much more important than ever to be as open and honest with the students that are in front of you, the students you interact with in the halls, so you can tell them you're going through the same emotions. I understand the loss. I get this sense of, I didn't get to do the final band concert at the end of the year with all the students where they can show off all their amazing progress through the year. I haven't been able to hang out with any of my friends over the last 6 months that I definitely miss. I understand the pain that they're going through and the confusion that they're experiencing, and I'm going to do my best to communicate that to them right off the bat. Students can smell and know fakeness immediately. So if you're trying to come in as 100% confident in everything, I know exactly what's going on, I know what we have to do to get through this and make things better, and lean on me and trust me and we'll all be fine, they're going to be able to smell that, because I don't think there's a person in at least this country of Canada that has a really good set idea and past experiences to navigate through this pandemic. So my recommendation, any teachers of students, people that work with these students on a day-to-day basis and teach them any life lessons, my recommendation is to be as honest and vulnerable with your class straight up. What that does is that helps to open up the sense of trust between teacher to student. That shows the students that if you can be honest with them and you can be vulnerable with them, that it's safe for that to come back the other way as well. Students then will feel more comfortable and safe to open up to you a little bit more as well, to maybe express some of the issues, the emotions, the thoughts around this whole idea. And that's what one of the many facets of our job is to listen to students. It also helps build the trust because you are being open and honest with them, and they're going to trust you more because of that. If something comes up that you don't know, say that. If a question comes up about pandemic, and literally about anything, and again, should have been a practice all the way up to now as well, but if there's something that comes up in an interaction with a student, they ask a question and you don't know the answer, don't make it up. Don't put on this false sense of bravado and, yeah, I totally know what's going on. No, they're gonna see through that a mile away. Just be honest with them. Say, you know what, that's a really good question. I don't actually know the answer to that right now, but let me look into it. Let me see if I can come back with something for you. You look into it as well. Keep me posted if you hear anything. I'm here for you. Let's keep this communication open. That's going to go a long way to building the relationships for you for the year and through this crazy, difficult time. It's so strange to look around this classroom and see the bare and empty walls where things once lived. But these are the times now. So, as much as possible, be honest and open with your students this year. Express over and over again to parents, to students, that they're safe. You will keep them safe in the classroom. You will take care of them. No idea and can't promise anything about keep them safe specifically from COVID. That's something that's entirely out of your hands. But when they come to school, amidst all of the confusion and chaos that is the world right now, your classroom should be one of those places where they feel the safest. And now more than ever, you need to make sure that you communicate that fully. It's going to be an interesting learning process as we go through here. I saw another quote from somebody, I think when a meme on Facebook or something, that said, be kind to the teachers. They're trying to build the plane at the same time that they fly it. I thought that was a good way to put that. We're all blind. We are coming in here as we get back to work officially with absolutely no idea what to expect. And we're taking it a day at a time. But we are creating a welcoming, safe, and caring environment for the students that enter this building every day. And for me personally, that's the most important part of my job. That's the reason that I do this. And that's the reason that I hope every other teacher comes into work every day as well. So if you have any thoughts, comments, ideas, reflections on what this year could look like for you, or you're a parent, talk about what this year might look like for your student. What is your student thinking these days? I'm here for you. We're all in this together. Anything I can do to help alleviate any thoughts or ideas, or just to listen, talk to me. We're all in this together, y'all. See ya.